Hello everyone, I'm Sharpedo43 once again, bringing you all another Wi-Fi battle. We're going to be facing Xavier once again, and this is going to be a UU tier battle. So, as you can see, I'm actually going to be using the same team that I used against the Snack in the last battle. Reason being is just because I personally felt that I could have used this team a lot better, and I personally wanted to see if I can actually, face someone else and actually use this team a little bit better than I did in the last battle. Because I did do a bunch of dumb things in that battle that kind of costed me in the first place, like dumping freaking Mega Pidgey out in the hole. So let's see if I can actually be a little bit smarter with this team and actually deliver on some of the sets that this team has to offer. So yeah, my opponent is going to be Xavier, like I said. This guy is actually someone I met in Shofu's Discord server. I can't talk, but yeah, and he seemed like a pretty cool guy, so I figured, yeah, let's just get a battle with him. Well, he actually DM'd me for the battle. He told me that he wanted to battle me, so I was like, okay, sure. Because after the battle with the Snack, I kind of just wanted to battle someone else, and he said, let's battle. And I was like, okay. And so, yeah, this battle happens, and the only thing I can hope for is that I win, I guess. So, yeah, here we go. He's going to lead off with Azelf. I think I lead with Sylveon here. Reason why I led with Sylveon was because if I get an advantage here, I might actually be able to just hit Hyper Voice. Because not a whole lot on his team takes Hyper Voice very well, except maybe the Shaman if it's a defensive type. But yeah, so I thought he was gonna get his rocks up right here, so I went for the Hyper Voice. He instead goes for Taunt, which causes me to now want to switch out into Scissor. And the reason why was because I was thinking if he doesn't get his rocks up right here after I go for the Hyper Voice, he might try to go for like Explosion or something. He then now decides to go for the rocks, which is like, okay, that's fine with me, because honestly it's better than risking my Sylveon taking an Explosion, which I do not want, because Sylveon is going to be quite useful in this battle. So what I do with this Scissor right here is just go for a Bullet Punch, and reveals that it was a Rocky Helmet Azo, which is kind of interesting. I'm guessing this is to break sashes on potential Pokemon that are meant to just take a hit and then retaliate with something hard. I don't know, but yeah, so he's now going to go into Entei now, and to my surprise this Entei doesn't even have the well, it's not shiny, so it's not an event Entei is what I'm trying to say. So the chances of this thing having E-Speed are pretty much limited. So here I go into Sylveon, because this was a planned sack actually, just because I didn't have a whole lot of switches to a Banded Entei, because they hit really hard with Sacred Fire. Even if you resist, they hit really hard with Sacred Fire. But seeing how this didn't do as much as I thought to Sylveon, I was under the impression that it was not Choice Banded at the very least. Maybe Choice Scarf, because he kept going for Sacred Fire. So here's where I think I decide to switch, or go for Wish, not switch, just to see if I can take another what's it called, Sacred Fire better, because it didn't do as much on my Sylveon. And after the leftovers recovery from Protect, I thought I could take another one, so that's why I went for Wish. And if I did take it, I'd Protect and get my HP back. He switched in the Honchkrow while I did this, and then after I was going to go for Hyper Voice here, as I do right here, he just goes back into Entei. This was kind of odd, honestly. I don't know what was the plan in switching in Honchkrow, because if I went for Hyper Voice there, let me tell you, I would have taken that Honchkrow out sooner than I hoped. So, yeah. I'm going to switch out Sylveon now, and I'm going to go into Gliscor. Reason why is because if he goes for another Sacred Fire, I just got to hope it doesn't burn, and then I can kick in the Toxic Orb here, which so that I can get the recovery from the poison, basically, because poison heal ability and whatnot. But here, this is where I actually realized, because somebody actually because the guy actually told me that are you carrying poison heal on my Gliscor, and this is when I checked and I was like, oh, I did not. So after getting my Stealth Rocks up and him sending out Shaman, I was like, like I see that the poison is actually not healing me, because I do not have the poison heal damage on this thing, or the poison heal ability on this thing. Damage. I had the Hyper Cutter ability instead. So as a result, I decided to switch out Muck so I don't take too many Seed Flares. But what he does here is actually go for Substitute, which is kind of interesting. I wanted to see what his plans were after going for Substitute here was, and as you can see, he actually ends up going for Leech Seed. So this is essentially a substituting Shaman that's probably bulky. So what I did here was go for Poison Jab to break the Substitute, and I think after this I actually try to go for another one. As you can see, I speed this part of the battle up a little bit, just because this part of the battle with Shaman is a little bit time consuming, in all honesty. It's basically this thing subseed stalling me a little bit. And what I decide to do here, I think here, after going for like a couple poison jabs, I think I decide to finally switch out, and I decide to go into I think Sylveon, and the reason why I wanted the Sylveon was because, you know, Sylveon with Hyper Voice, it can hit through substitute, and I wanted to see if I can maybe do over half to the Shaman. Not to mention, it would also give me the idea of whether or not it's actually defensive or not, and not to mention also yeah, I thought I could just do over half, and if I did over half, I'd stay in and just keep going for Hyper Voices. Although I kind of at the same time wasn't thinking of the fact that this Sylveon is defensive and therefore it's not offensive, which means the Hyper Voice will not do as much as I would like. So after leftovers and all that stuff, here's where I decided to go for the Hyper Voice, I believe. Oh no, I don't. I actually switched into Tentacruel. Reason being was because I think I did the Hyper Voice thing earlier, which is interesting. But yeah, here I decided to send in Tentacruel because I realized, you know what, it's just Leech Seed, Subseed stalling me here. So what I'm gonna do here is go into Tentacruel, so that if he Leech Seeds me, he just gets damaged himself because of the Liquid Ooze ability and whatnot. But he actually predicts that somehow and actually ends up going for a Seed Flare. Then goes for another one, and the reason I stay in right here despite that Seed Flare was because I wanted to get the Rapid Spin off, because you saw how many times I was switching back and forth there with Muck and then Sylveon and then this Tentacruel. I'm just taking too much Stealth Rocks damage, and that was not part of the plan in this battle. I do not want to get crippled by rocks, so I'm going to be switching out right here after getting the Rapid Spin off. Going into Sylveon. He's going to go for another Seed Flare, which is fine, because what I want to do right here with Sylveon is take a Seed Flare and then just protect. The reason why I want to protect is so I can potentially PP stall his Seed Flares, so that it doesn't keep hitting my Sylveon very hard. So because it is hitting quite hard with Seed Flare here. He ends up predicting this protect too and ends up going for Leech Seed instead of the Seed Flare, which is kind of annoying. So I go back into Sylveon right here, and I think actually, now that I think about it, now that I remember, I think it was right here where I started to go for the Hyper Voices. I think I wanted to try the Liquid Ooze thing first because he was Leech Seeding, but then I realized, okay, now my Tentacruel is weakened, so I decided, you know what, let's just go into the Sylveon and hit it with a Hyper Voice. I think that was kind of the plan when I first sent in Sylveon, but I kind of didn't feel like I could, so that's kind of why I just ended up going for Hyper Voice at this point of the battle. But yeah, so more Subseed stalling here. I was just going for here. I think after taking another Seed Flare right here, I go for a Wish just to PP stall these Seed Flares, because these Seed Flares, they're really hitting hard, and honestly I kind of don't have a switch into this. Honestly, I could switch in Scizor, but if he just goes for the Leech Seed, he can just keep doing his thing in all honesty and just spamming Seed Flare in all honesty. And if it has HP Fire, then that's probably even more dangerous in all honesty. So yeah, yeah, as you can see, the what's it called is doing me a lot of damage. Here, as I go for Protect, he actually ends up switching back into Entei, which is like, oh. He does take Stealth Rocks damage, but after this Protect, I am going to get my HP back, sure, but I'm still Leech Seeded, so the Entei is going to get some recovery back. And here, I think this is where I decide to switch back into Gliscor. I think this time to sack it, because after realizing that the thing doesn't even have Toxic Orb, it's not going to do me any good. So if he KOs my, what's it called for, my Gliscor, then so be it. He actually ends up going for Stone Edge. I don't know what he was predicting here in all honesty. I don't think anything on my team takes the Sacred Fire very well, unless he wanted to conserve PP for the Sacred Fire, because they are very limited in all honesty. He does go for the Stone Edge on my Gliscor and gets a crit, which almost KOs my Gliscor. So I went for U-turn here just to let it go down to a possible Stone Edge, but for some reason I actually ended up outspeeding this thing, and I just got the U-turn off into Muck. Here he went for another Stone Edge, and it does miss this time. I just go for Poison Jab, and once again I outspeed it with this Muck. How on earth? Oh no, I don't think I outspeed it here. I actually, or yeah, no, I did outspeed it. How on earth did I outspeed it? I don't even know how I outsped this Entei. Is it like 0 speed invested? Is this meant to be like a Trick Room Entei or something? I don't even know. But my Muck outspeed it, and it got to hit a Stone Edge this time, but I was like, you know what? Why don't we just sack Gliscor instead of letting my Muck die? So, because maybe my Muck can be useful for something. But I still find it very odd that this Entei was slow all this time, because I honestly was afraid of this thing because it would be one of the fastest mons on this guy's team with a base speed stat of 100. But in this case, even my Muck was able to outspeed it. That's kind of weird. You'd have to have a minus speed nature with 0 investment on speed to actually have a Muck outspeeder. Unless my Muck is actually fully speed invested, I don't even know. But it has to be both in order for that to happen. It's so weird. But anyways, he now goes into this for Alligator. I go into Scizor. The reason why I wanted Scizor was because I felt like this was the opportunity to actually go for this Fightinium Z here and actually just nuke this freaking Feraligatr if possibly. If not, sheesh, I can't talk. I meant to say if possible, maybe even KO it. But you're gonna see here that this what's it called, all-out pummeling surprisingly does not end up KOing the Feraligatr, and then I realized the reason why was because this thing was actually a bulky Scizor. So once again, another bulky freaking Pokemon with a Z move. Like, in all honesty, what's even the point of this? Well, it did have Swords Dance, and I probably should have gone for that, but obviously he already got the Dragon Dance off, and I didn't want him to just get away with too much. In fact, if I went for Swords Dance right here, I wouldn't have been able to KO this Feraligatr because he got the Dragon Dance up, and he would have just waterfalled me, and I would have not been able to do anything. So yeah. Or maybe I should have gone for it. Maybe I should have gone for it, but maybe I was afraid of getting 2-hit KO'd by a waterfall or something. So maybe that's why I went for it. So oh well. But my Scizor is kind of crippled now, so I do end up sending in Tentacle right here as he goes in the Honchkrow because I did not want to lose Scizor just yet. I wanted to see if maybe if this is a slow Honchkrow like the Entei was, maybe I can now prioritize it with Bullet Punch and get damage on it. Because especially after realizing that this is a Life Orb Honchkrow. So what I'm going to do right here is going to Mega Pidgeot now. The reason why was because I was kind of hoping that even though it got +1 with a Moxie and its Life Orb, that Sucker Punch would not be able to KO my Mega Pidgeot from full. So I was like, okay, am I going to be able to live it? I was like, live! And it does live with just 1 freaking HP. I was like, holy flipping cranberries. I actually did survive. This Honchkrow, let me tell you, if it actually got to KO my freaking Pidgeot, that might have just been the whole game there. Might not have been, but then how on earth would I be able to get around the Shaman? Because I think only my Mega Pidgeot was able to deal with this thing in all honesty. Because, I mean, my Scizor is a bulky Scizor, and it's only going to Leech Seed Substall me because it was a very healthy Shaman in the first place. Now here, I kind of thought he still had a chance to win in all honesty with his Heracross because I kind of thought this was maybe a Scarred Heracross. But then, now that I think about it, why would he send Shaman in first, knowing that if he kills my Pidgeot with Stone Edge, it would have to lock himself into something else or something for the rest of my Pokemon. But yeah, here it turns out to be a Mega Heracross anyway, so I was like, oh yeah, I definitely can KO this thing. I can't miss Hurricanes because of the no guard ability on the Mega Pidgeot, so yeah, I think I had that battle in the bag after he lost Honchkrow. I did the calc to see if that survive actually mattered, and it was actually a 50-50 chance for me to survive that, actually. Like, I could have gotten KO'd as well. So I was actually glad I did not go down to that, because I was like, if I did, I would have gotten swept. So yeah, despite this battle ending in a 4-0, that was really damn close, because if I lost it right there, that Honchkrow would have been a +2, and then it would take some baiting to get around it. And because it's kind of faster than what was left on my team, I didn't think it was gonna go anywhere much. So yeah, Muck did not outspeed it. Neither did Sylveon, and neither did what else was left on my team? Neither did Scizor, honestly, if that Honchkrow was speed invested. So damn, that was crazy. Anyways, that's gonna be it. Good game, Xavier. Thank you all for watching this battle. I'll catch you guys for the next battle, but for now, just take it easy.